Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. My name is Feni ARRAIYANFI, and I'm a medicine student from the Faculty of Medicine in Sultan Agung University, Semarang, Indonesia. So, as you may know, randomized control trials are the gold standards of study design used to evaluate the safety and effectiveness of the healthcare intervention. So today I'm going to read an RCT article, and the title is Randomized Controlled Study of the Effect of the cholinesterase inhibition on colon function in patients with diabetes mellitus and constipation, and using the consort checklist 2010. Here is the checklist to provide the information, including the section or topics containing in an article or study. So the term consort stands for Consolidated Standards of Reporting Trials. It provides guidance or recommendation for reporting all randomized controlled trials. I have divided my presentation into 4 parts. First, I'm going to find the items of the consort checklist of introduction in the article, and then after that, I'm going to find the items of the consort checklist of methods, followed by result in this RCT article, and then I'm going to find the items of the consort checklist in the discussions. So here is the list of the items, and then finally, I will summarize the presentation. So basically, this article is the report of findings of study to evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention. So the intervention is using the cholinesterase inhibition, and then the treatment of the condition, and then in the population that I found in this title is the patients with diabetes mellitus and constipation, but we don't have any further information regarding gender of age. And then also the setting, I couldn't find it in the title. So let's begin the introduction. In the introduction, as you can see over here, first of all, there is the title and abstract. The title is this, the original article title, and then we move to the abstract. In the abstract, you can see the abstract is divided into several parts, such as objectives, and then design, and then results, and then lastly, this is conclusions. And then we move to, in the checklist, there is introduction containing background and objectives. In the introduction, so here we only have one paragraph, and in the last part of this paragraph, we can find the objective of this study. As you can see, under the orange highlight over here, the aim of this study was to assess the effect of pyridostigmine and etc. And then the scientific background, as you can read over here, is written. The community survey suggests that chronic constipation is the most common gastrointestinal symptoms and etc. And then we move to the next part in the checklist. As you can see here, there is methods, and in the methods, there's a lot of contents over here. You can see the trial, the participants, the intervention, the use in the study, and then the outcomes, and then the sample size, and etc. So first, there is we can see the trial design. It was clearly written over here. This was a single-site, double-blind, placebo-controlled, and randomized clinical trial. And then And then we move to the participants. In the participants, we can find out the eligibility criteria. By that, we can see the inclusion criteria or the exclusion criteria of the participant is clearly written over here. The exclusion criteria included any structural disorder affecting the GI tract or etc. And then in this study, we don't have any information like the setting and location. There is no further information regarding that, such as the location where the data were collected. So we just move to the next part. And number 5, the intervention. So as you can see under the green highlight, the intervention for each group with sufficient details to allow replication, including how and when they were actually administered. As you can see over here, the pyridoxine and the matching placebo were started at 60 milligrams 3 times a day and increased by 60 milligrams every third day. That's the intervention. And then we move to the outcomes. The outcomes, we could see how the outcomes are measured, including how and when they were assessed. Over here, as we can see in the pink highlight, the AC and tying was summarized by the blah 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 and etc. Here is containing the outcome. And then the 7A, sample size. Sample size is how the sample was determined, as you can see here. In previous studies from our laboratory, the mean of GC24 for colonic transit and etc. So this is how the sample size was determined. We have information stopping guideline when applicable of any intervention analyzed, and then what else? You can see the after institutional review board approval and an interim analysis. It was written over here. Interim analyses were performed to demonstrate progress for a grant renewal application. That's the sample size. And then the randomization containing sequence generation, allocation, and then implementation as well. We can see over here. Number 8. The method used to generate the random allocation sequence. So the allocation is in the Mayo Research Pharmacy's Electronic Randomization Access Database. The type of randomization, what is the type? It was only written during the treatment period. Participants were only randomized to placebo or pyridoxine. So it's containing the information of the randomization. And then the allocation is the Mayo Pharmacy. What else? And in the 11A, it was stated that all clinical and laboratory study personnel were blinded. So in the checklist as well, blinding, number 11A, who was blinded after the assignment to intervention, for example, like the participants or the care providers. It was stated over here that the study personnel were blinded. And then number 12, we can see the statistical methods. So the statistical methods used to compare the primary and the secondary outcomes. As you can see, it was stated over here, was used to compare treatment groups, incorporating the baseline value. And then we move on to the next in the checklist, number 13. 13 is results. Yeah. In the results containing participants, study conduct, and completion. So over here, in this paragraph, we have information number of participants completed the study procedure, but not for each group. However, we can find it in the participant flow diagram. So here is the diagram, as you can see. For each group, the numbers of the participants who were randomly assigned received intended treatment and were analyzed for the primary outcome. As you can see over here, it's clearly stated the numbers of participants, like the assess for eligibility, and then after they went through the exclusion criteria or inclusion. And then number 14 over here in the checklist is recruitment. So it was under the green highlight, the dates defining the periods of recruitment and follow-up. The study was conducted between May 2006 and October 2010. After that, number 15. 15. Yeah. This is the demographics and baseline clinical features. So it's basically a table that's showing baseline demographic and clinical characteristic for each group. As you can see, the group divided into two, placebo and pyridostigmine. And then number 16. Number 16. 16 is number analyzed. So the intent to treat analysis used all randomized patients. Like for each group, number of participants included in each analysis and whether the analysis was by original assigned groups or not. It was stated the analyze used all randomized patients, all. And then next in the checklist, we have outcomes and estimates by numbers. So it was served by a table over here. You can see for each the primary and secondary outcome results for each group and the estimated effect size and its precision. Usually such as 95% confidence interval. It's divided into 3 parts. And then 17B is for the binary outcomes, like the presentation of both absolute and relative effect sizes is recommended. So it was written over here, compared with placebo, pyridostigmine increased stool frequency and etc. And then next in line, we have number 18. Number 18 is ancillary analysis. It's like the results of any other analysis performed, including subgroup analysis and adjusted analysis and all. And then next in the checklist, number 19. On the checklist, it was stated harms. By harms, it means all important harms or unintended effects is like side effects. It was stated there were no differences detected among the treatment groups in the proportion of subjects with any AEs. And then it's also stated in the table adverse effects recorded in the entire study population. This is the list of side effects. As you can see, there's muscle twitching and then gastrointestinal and then like headedness and then etc. Then we move on to discussion page. I'm searching for the number 20. I can find the number 20 containing limitation. Is there no limitation? Maybe we could skip to the next part on the checklist. There is number 22. 22 is interpretation. So these observations, such as that pyridoxine improves bowel symptoms and accelerates colonic transit in patients with DM and constipation. And then number 25, we have other information such as funding. So the study was supported by USPHS, as you can read it yourself. It's from the National Center for Research Resources. And then we move up. Number 23 over here, it's the registration number, like the name of trial registry. It's registered on clinicaltrials.gov. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.